Hey guys, I'm Angie,
I'm Tully.
and we are here for your week 3, day 3 daily Dabble art project. The supplies that you're going to need today are your Q-tips. You need tin foil. Now, you have several sheets of this in your bag, but you need to set aside 1 or 2 sheets. Go ahead and keep those in your bag so that you don't use them because we're going to need them for other things this week. You need your small pieces of white paper. You're also going to grab your paints, and if you want to get a paper plate out, you can. You'll notice I only gave you the primary colors this week in black and white, so you have red, blue, and yellow. So if you were really hoping that you had some green paint this week or some purple or orange, guess what? You can make those colors by using your primary colors, and we'll do a little bit of that today, okay? You're also going to want to go ahead and grab a paper towel from home, and then if you have a paintbrush at home, you'll want to use it. But if you don't, you could use a craft stick. You could use a plastic knife or a plastic spoon to mix your paint colors with. So go ahead and grab your materials, and we're going to get started. Okay, so as always, when we're dealing with paint, you want to make sure that you have a covered surface and make sure that you're not wearing your favorite clothes. Something that it's okay to get paint on, all right? So what we're going to do first is we're actually going to paint on our tin foil. So I am going to start with some white paint. I'm going to grab just a craft stick here. And remember, you could also use a plastic knife or a spoon to do this. So I've got a little white, and I think I'm going to get a little red as well.
I'm going to make some white red.
Well, otherwise known as pink.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so I've got that on there, and then I'm just going to take my craft stick, and I'm going to spread it out on my foil, and I'm just going to let those colors kind of blend together. So you want to try to cover all the foil with this if you can. And again, you can do this with a paintbrush. You can do it with a plastic spoon. Whatever's going to help you spread that paint out. Tully, do you want to use the paintbrush and get a little paint on your foil there?
Yeah.
All right, so Tully's going to go ahead and get some paint on his foil. And while he's doing that, I'm going to take my Q-tip. And what I'm going to do is just create a design in my paint with my Q-tip. So I'm basically wiping some of this paint off with my Q-tip. Now, once I have paint on this Q-tip, I kind of want to wipe it off and come back and wipe more paint off of my foil. I can also use the other side of my Q-tip.
Whoa, Mom, look at this.
That's awesome. All right, so Tully wound up making a little bit of green by putting the blue and the yellow on there. So Tully, why don't you go ahead and get a Q-tip and start drawing a design in your paint.
I got a good idea. Maybe make a moon.
Now you want to do this fairly quickly because you don't want your paint to dry on the foil. You want it to stay wet because when you're done making your design, whatever that might be, you're going to grab a piece of paper. So Tully, maybe just do a little bit more on yours. Grab a piece of paper, press it down onto the foil, and you want to try to hold it real still. You don't want it to move around on there. So hold it still, and then you're going to just use your hand to press down, rub on the back of this without moving it around, sliding it around. Press down nice and firm. You can even flip it over this way if you want to. Press down on the foil. Smooth it all out. And then when you pull this apart, you have... Okay, so mine did not really turn out the way that I wanted it to. It still kind of looks cool though. So when you're doing art, and I've talked about this before, sometimes it doesn't really turn out the way that you had planned. But I'm looking at Tully's, and his actually turned out, his print turned out better than mine did. So if I think about what was different, Tully's paint was a little bit thinner. Tully's paint was a little bit thinner on the foil than mine was. So maybe I had it too much paint on there. Maybe I need thinner, smaller amount of paint. So that's why for this project I gave you 6 of those pieces of paper and plenty of pieces of foil, because this is one of those things that you might want to try again and again and again, and sooner or later you're going to wind up with one that's your favorite. So Tully, if you want to clean your brush off, you can go ahead and clean it so that you can do it again. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use a little blue this time.
Ooh. Are you going to do green?
I think I'm going to do some blue and red.
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to do, actually.
Oh, well, let's do it together then.
Okay.
Maybe I'll do blue and red and white.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
like a violet.
Yes. And so I'm going to take this
Or
paint,
lavender.
smudge it around.
Do you think they'll like make it like?
So I'm going to try to make mine a little more thin this time. Okay, so I've got some pretty purple foil here.
That's pretty.
Thank you.
Aw.
And Tully, you're going to go ahead and paint your foil up. And this time, I think I'll just go with like a fun,
What is red and
a fun
yellow?
design. I think for this type of art project, if you try to do something really detailed, you might have trouble with something like that. So I'm just going to do some fun lines and patterns.
I kind of like went in like one spot for a minute. Oh, okay. I'll do yellow.
Tully has a
and
really
red.
pretty purple going on his too.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so now I just have kind of a fun design on this. Let's see if I can get it to work better this time. All right, let's see. I'm going to put my paper on there. And instead of pressing down so hard, I think I'm just going to press a little more gently. I might have mushed it too much the first time.
Ooh, what should I do? Oh, no.
It's been a long time since I've done foil printing before.
Never done it.
You've never done it?
Well, have I?
I don't know. Maybe not. Okay, I'm going to peel it back. Oh, yeah, I like that way better.
Wow,
That
that's
turned
so
out really, really cool. Okay, so there's my copy. Tully's working on one over there. Let's see what he's up
I
to.
go over so it has more space.
Oh, you're going over it twice?
Yep.
Good idea. Wiping that paint clean.
No paint on my lines. I'm almost done. Just have to
Papa, do the yellow.
do the yellow.
Yeah.
I'll do the yellow.
Yeah, Mama will do yellow.
All right.
Okay.
I've still got a little pink left on my craft stick here, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and just wipe it off on my foil. Okay, I'll do the
She's
yellow.
doing yellow. All right.
And Iris is doing a very good job of kind of keeping her hands off the paint. That's a tough one.
Yeah, it is. All right, I'm ready. I'm gonna try it.
Okay, Tully's going to go for it. See what happens. It still looks kind of cool, though.
Yeah, I don't think I had enough paint on it.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah, because like I just like did one swipe with one color and then one swipe with the other one.
Okay, so I have my foil painted one more time here. And Tully, do you want to just play around with it on there with me?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I've got my paint nice and thin. We're just going to do some fun wiggly lines together. Ooh, I love that wiggly line. What do you think, Iris?
You want to draw letters?
You want to do some?
Yeah, let's see.
All right, Iris is going to make some lines in here for us.
Go, baby.
Here, let's hold it this way.
Yeah.
Roll that sleeve up.
Here she goes. Oh, go Iris! Woohoo! Good job!
But again, that's why we've got several sheets of foil and sheets of paper for you guys to experiment with this.
Was that one the last one? Oh
See.
my gosh, that's so cool.
That one did turn out cool. I like it.
That's
Is that pretty, Iris?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
pretty. Awesome.
I found one more.
So, yeah, this is just one of those projects where you might have to do it a couple times until you get it right.
Iris, you want? Okay, you can do one.
And that is
Okay.
one of the awesome things about art is just experimenting with the supplies and seeing what you can create. Are you going to go again, Tully?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and do yellow and red.
All right, Tully's gonna try one more time. So we're gonna take a quick little break, and he's gonna keep painting and printing with this foil. Oh man, that looks pretty. And we'll be right back. Okay, thank you guys for dabbling with us today. Hopefully you had a couple pieces of paper that turned out really pretty and special and just gave you a nice little surprise there. I know we had a couple turn out pretty cool looking. Okay, and if your papers didn't really turn out the way you wanted to, you know, sometimes the cool thing about art is just trying new things and experimenting with art materials, and that's the fun part. So, for your challenge today, I want to challenge you to go a little bit further with these papers. One of my very, very favorite authors and illustrators is Eric Carle. So this is The Very Busy Spider, but probably a book that you might know him for is The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And if you have any of Eric Carle's books, take some time to actually look through the pages and check out his illustrations and look a little bit closer at those. If you open up, like, for example, the first page of this book, all of this is all a collage of painted pieces of paper. Okay, the sun, which you'll see that in The Very Hungry Caterpillar. All of this is just painted pieces of paper that he has cut up and then glued down to create a collage with those painted papers. So you can definitely find some inspiration in his books if you have one at home to look at. But what you can do is take these papers that have these really amazing textures and designs and colors together on them and start cutting those up and glue them down to a separate sheet of paper to make your own picture out of those papers. So that's your challenge. I hope you enjoyed dabbling with us today and getting a little messy with the foil and paints, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.